Welcome to Whiteboard Wednesday. My name is Giles and my business is Equidity. And in this week's Whiteboard Wednesday, we're going to look at Plan B, manufactured growth. We've talked a lot about buying property and how we can create an asset base for the future of our investors by buying a property and holding it over time and watching its value compound with growth. But what we also recognised was that some properties outperform others. So in a previous Whiteboard Wednesday, we looked at Plan A, which was buying a property in the right location. And if you want to know more about the right location, then go and have a look for that one. And the other opportunity for us to create growth was Plan B, which was manufacturing equity. So that was taking the asset which we'd purchased in the right location. So the location is key. We've bought it in the right location. Is buying an asset where we have the opportunity to do something to it. So we're going to physically change that asset to increase it, to take it to a higher and better use. That means we're going to spend more money on it, but we're going to make more money out of it. And what that typically means is buying a property, we have to do the due diligence when we buy it. So we're looking at it from the outset. So it's not something we think about halfway through our ownership period. It's strategic and we look at it from the outset. We don't necessarily have to execute on it from the outset. We might buy an asset and hold it for 5 or 10 years before we do anything with it. But having that opportunity means we can have a double whammy, we can have icing on the cake, because it's going to perform well based on the location, but we've always got this opportunity to engineer or manufacture equity. So if we have a little look at the example which we've used a number of times. We bought a $1 million property, we kept it for 10 to 15 years, and it had doubled in value because it was in a good location. Another 10 to 15 years, and it was worth $4 million. And this was great. This is why we need quality assets to build the asset base. And we just look at another example. Perhaps this investor over this 30-year period of time had the opportunity to get another $1 million and buy another property, which they could do. They could buy another $1 million property at any point along here. And if they buy well, they'll get a similar result as far as growth is concerned. But what they might choose to do instead is to take their additional $1 million, obviously partly leveraged or fully leveraged, borrowed money, but by adding this $1 million to the asset we bought before, we might be able to create something which is larger than the sum of the parts. So in a lot of the examples which I work with and the clients I work with, we might buy a piece of land for $1 million, which will deliver a great result because of its location. But what we might do is we might invest another $1 million on it and turn that one older house on a big block of land into 3 or 4 townhouses. When we execute that, we manufacture equity. So the $2 million we've invested will create, for example, sake of example, $2.5 million worth. The sum of the parts is greater than the $2 million. So we put in $1 million to buy it originally, we buy another $1 million to develop it, take the old house and turn it into 3 or 4 newer homes. The value then may be $2.5 million. So we've created $500,000 by turning it into something better. What happens then, obviously, over the next 10 or 15 years, the $2.5 million can become $5 million, and over another 10 or 15 years, it has the potential to become $10 million. Of course, in the asset bank, we've still got our debt, so we've still got maybe $1 million, maybe 800, but we'll say $1 million each. Say it was $2 million debt, we have to minus the $2 million of debt, but we still have $8 million in the asset bank. So when we choose to access those assets in the future, we're set up to lots of options for our future retirement. I hope that makes sense of how we can buy a house in the right area is going to deliver maximum organic growth, but Plan B gives us the opportunity to manufacture equity and supersize the results. I hope that makes sense. I hope that resonates with you. If people would like more information or obviously to look at it in more detail, because these are obviously very high level numbers, but the essence of what it's illustrating is very, very achievable. So if you'd like to know more, then please reach out and let's start the conversation.